Hello, how is everybody this afternoon? I have to say that y'all have been amazing this week. Amazing. Like the stuff that I'm seeing happening in the group and the amount that everyone has stepped up is so huge, like just super huge. And I'm just so proud of everyone. I just have to tell you that. And so thank you. Thank you very, very much. Today, I wanted to talk about a couple of things that people have messaged me about and just said, one of them is you should have gotten the email today. If you haven't read it yet, it does come from Kelly at Fit is Freedom. So if you're not getting the emails, let me know. And when you jump on, just let me know that you're on too. So I know who's here with me today. I know a lot of people have to catch up on the replays and totally understand. That's why we do these and then have them there so you can watch them again. But the things that I'm asking about, or I'm hearing about really, there's been a little bit of, I wouldn't call it panic, but concern about what happens next. Like, hey, Susan, so what do we do? Like, we've got all this momentum built up. So what do we do next, right? And definitely we have options. Like, we definitely have options. And then another question that somebody had asked is, how do we use this accountability? Hey, Paulina, thanks for joining us. So, the question about, accountability, what do we do with that and how do we keep it going? And then the third thing that I had is that someone said that they'd seen a video I just did somewhere on Facebook about the long game. And I think I'd like to start with that if y'all don't mind. And it'll be quick, but I do want to talk about the long game because I see so much out there. Like, there's so many people who talk about, having to do whatever it is. Like, let's try, I'm making stuff up. And if you do this, forgive me, but I'm just going to make some stuff up. One of them is like, you've got to do the most recent diet, like whether it's, I don't know, used to be Fit 30 and then it was, I don't know, keto and paleo and, all these different things. So, that's what you've got to do. Or you have to do like bodybuilding and you have to do this and you have to do that. And that's what's going to make things happen. And that's how things are going to change. And really, those are like little bumps in the road. Like, doing those things can be great. Like, I have definitely done like a no sugar for 30 days thing. And, and I've done some of these things for sure. Hey, Kayla, that is how you say that, right? Good for you for going to Zumba class. So I'm really talking real quick right now about the long game. But what I want to think everybody to be thinking about is, what happens in 3 months? What happens in 6 months? What happens in a year? Like, we are here, like we're all here. And unless something dastardly happens to us, we're probably going to be here for a while. And medicine's gotten to the point where, if we do what they say we need to do with the medicines and stuff like that, we're going to be here a long time. What I want is for us to be here a long time feeling great, like feeling really, really good. And the stuff we've been talking about this week, that is really the foundation for that long game. So it's the mindset, it's the why. Like, the big whys. I had some people say some amazing big whys on why they are in the group, why they want to get in shape, why they want to, keep going. So it's keeping that big why center and front. The other one is motivation. It's like figuring out what you need to keep that motivation. Hey, Nicole, thanks for joining us. But what's that motivation going to be that's going to drive you to stick to the long game? I see this so much. Is what happens is that people will start doing something, and we're doing pretty good, right? We've been rocking and rolling for a couple of weeks, 3 weeks or whatever, and then something happens, kind of throws us off our game, and maybe we get sick, or the dog gets sick, or something happens, throws us off our game. And then next thing we know, 30 days has gone by and we haven't gotten back into the groove of movement. I know I was talking to someone earlier today, and like my favorite thing to tell people is movement is magic. So what's that motivation? So including your big why, having motivation, keeping the schedule, and then just like always looking for what the next thing is, right? What the next thing is. And I can give you a good example of the next thing. I have a very good friend of mine, and she was actually one of the people who did this, like when I first created the Fit is Freedom experience. She's one of the first people who did it. And she had amazing results, like super cool results. We got to be friends, like it was just like rock star. And then she started having some injuries. Kind of kept getting worse and worse and worse. Well, I got a text from her this morning. It was this morning, or yesterday morning. It was this morning. And she has to have back surgery. And she's having a little bit of a conundrum, maybe a little bit more than that, but let's call it a conundrum. And so what we had to talk about was, yes, that is 6 months that she's going to be knocked out of what she does, absolutely. And if she's looking at the long game, what else can we do? Like, what can we bring into her world right now that's going to help? Like maybe she can swim. I don't know. Waiting to hear from the doctor. Maybe she can, I know she can walk. Like, you know, she needs to be walking more instead of stressing like she has been. She needs to be out there walking, and, you know, doing some things like that. But then she can also start thinking about like bringing in the meditation, bringing in super gentle yoga. There's just so many things that we can do that if we keep that why and that long game in mind, then we can work around it. Like I'm a great example of that. Like I know someone in the group had mentioned that she has sciatic, and it is sorry, but it has literally been a pain in my ass for 20 years, right? Like a literal. And so what happens is that I can go and run for a while. And, you know, I mean, I'm so used to this. I shouldn't do it. But, you know I've got about 6 weeks of running in me. And then at the end of 6 weeks, it's going to start going bad because the sciatic starts coming back. And it used to be where I would just be like, like mental breakdown. Now I can't ride my bike because my butt hurts and I can't do all these things. And instead, I just started having to look at it and go, okay, what can I do elsewhere? What can I do otherwise? Like, you know, if I'm going to run to the point where I'm going to hurt myself, then how can I fix that? How can I change it? How can I make it different? And so I just had to start working around it. So keep thinking about that. Like in the long game, you know, you've got your motivation, you've got your why, you've got to have your mindset. Like bring that mindset into it and bring that like looking down the road, like what's next, if you know, what's happening. Another good example is what about like the holidays are coming up? Like holidays are a big deal, right? Because I was reluctant to start this before the holidays. And I was talking to a friend about it, and I said, you know, I should have done this, shoulda, coulda, woulda done it in June, because June's better, because then people have time to, you know, to get going and they don't have the holidays looming. And she's like, but people need this more than anything before the holidays. Because if we're thinking outside of that, you know, past New Year's, then what we can do is we can start planning now to make sure that we're going for the long game there too. And that may just be 3 or 4 months, but you've got to get through the holidays in a way that that keeps you going strong. And I do have something that I came up with, and I will tell you this real quick, and then I'm going to come back to it tomorrow, but just FYI. I created like a coaching program, a membership little coaching program over the next 8 weeks. And it's not every week, okay? Because I don't think people want every week during the holidays, but it's all recorded. It's everything that we need to do. And then I'm going to be there kind of with the whip, checking on everybody, because I think it's so important that we don't let the holidays derail us. Families, we love them. They can create some stress. Food, drink, parties, we all know it. Like, you know, it's just this thing that kind of piles on. So I want to make sure that going into the new year, no one is waiting for January 1st to get started. Like, bad idea. Have you ever gone to the gym on January 1st? Like there's 1,000 people there, right? And then by January 30th, there's the usual 10 people there. I've seen it for years and years. So what I want us to be that 10 people, one of those 10 people who's already doing our stuff and already going right through January. And then when January comes, we've got our groove. We don't have to be putting down, what our New Year's resolutions are, because once again, we didn't hit them this year. So boom, let's think about that. So another thing is the accountability. And I love accountability. In the actual group that I have, the Fit is Freedom Experience group, what we do in there is we have accountability peer groups, accountability groups. Let me rephrase that. We call them peer accountability groups. And once a week, everybody gets together online, like a conference call, for, I think it's 6 of them in a group. And it's about 15 minutes, but they check in. And they check in and they go, okay, Kelly, you said you were going to do X, Y, Z this last week. What did you do? And I'll look at it and I'll go, okay, I've got all of these things done except for these 2 things. And what I'm looking for, as the Wizard of Oz behind the screens, what I'm looking for is everyone to hit at least 80% of what they say they're going to do. I think that if we hit 80% of what we say we're going to do, then we're on track. If we hit 90% of what we say we're going to do, we are rock stars. Okay, just like I shoot for 90%. Like that's my goal every week. Actually my goal every week is 100%. But I do notice that maybe one day I forget to take my supplements, or one day I don't drink all my water, or whatever it is. But so in those peer groups there, everybody's looking and going, okay, are we hitting our 80%? Is everyone at least there? And then what's the next week look like? And so what it is it's not like we have to have someone hold our hands, but that day, like maybe tonight, let's pretend it's tonight, and I had said I was going to do 3 yogas this week. And I know that if I don't go to yoga tonight, I'm not going to hit my goal. Well, I've already told my friends that I'm going to do it. So I've already publicly stated that I'm going to do it. And so I do it. It's just so much easier to do. You don't have to think about it. So what happens is you're creating all these great, just all these great habits. And habits lead to life changes every time. Hey, Nicole, thanks for joining us. Yeah, accountability partners are big. Like they really are. And I think that that's one of the things that we've seen happen this week in the group, is that people are really cheering each other on. And it's so much easier. So does anyone have any questions? Because I have just a couple of questions that I wanted to go over. And so if anyone has any questions, let me know. So I want to see what Kayla had to say. She said, I tell my Zumba class participants, do what you can when you can. What works for me may not work for someone else, and I don't beat yourself up too much. It's absolutely true. I mean, that's the 80% thing. You just do what you can do and just get in there and do it. So for those of you who are interested, I don't know if you saw the email today, but basically the next step, like we've still got tomorrow, and tomorrow's day 5 of the Finish Strong. And then next week, hang on, let me check my schedule. Calendar's on the wall. It looks like next week we've got a live this coming Sunday that I'm going to do some regrouping and just checking in on people. And then I think we have we've got a couple of calls next week, and then we've got a call on Tuesday, and then we're wrapping it up. So so if you want to keep going, which I want you guys to keep going, basically y'all have won my hearts. You just like, I'm starting all my sentences these days to the people I know outside of the group is, do you know what the group did today? Do you know how many people did this and how many people did that? Like, I am so excited, like I can't stand it. But what I did was we have the Fit is Freedom experience, which is really cool. It's 11 weeks, and 11 weeks of basically, each week we have a set, just like we did this week. We have each day, but we take it a week at a time. So we may have, I'm just gonna make stuff up for a second, but let's say maybe this is motivation week, or maybe this is movement week, or whatever it is. Each week we have a worksheet, we have a meeting online. We do it online through Zoom so that everyone can participate, because I don't like these one-way conversations. These one-way conversations is me hoping, right? Hey, Susan, me just hoping that, you guys are going to hear what I'm saying. So when we do it together in a group, and a small group, then what happens is that we get to interact. So you've got 11 weeks of this, and we do a coaching, and we do just the worksheet. Then we have the accountability group for everybody. So we break people up into about 6 people, and then you meet just 15 minutes, accountability group, boom. But it's huge, it's huge. And we kind of throw a little bit of a twist in there where we actually, each accountability group is competing with each other a little bit. So we'll say accountability group right now, we've got terrific Tuesdays, Sunday fun day, Friday yayers, they all name themselves, and they do. They're throwing down against each other in their private group, because they're just showing that who's doing what. And I know last night, one of the groups, they had been kind of through a little friendly competition, someone else, and said we've been doing our planks, we're up to 2.5 minutes. And everybody's like, whoa. So there's some fun things like that going on. But that's the Fit is Freedom experience. And the next one doesn't start until January. So I thought, all right, we got a problem here, because we're finishing this up, going into the holidays. January in my world is what, 2.5 months away. So I'm putting together a holiday event where we've got about 8 weeks to just stay on track over the holidays. There's not huge time commitments. It's not something where you've got to be getting. Let me stop for a second and tell you something. I have a belief that you either are building or maintaining, right? There are times when I'm building, let's say I'm going to do a big bike race, then I'm building my biking up, right? And then there are other times when I'm just maintaining my biking ability. So this next 8 weeks is a maintenance period. We're not going to go all in and try and lose 20 pounds each and, gain 3 pounds of muscle and all that. No way. This is maintenance. But it's a way to keep everybody on track and comfortable through the holidays, through the stress, through the food, through the drinking, through the sitting around and not doing stuff, through the bad weather. So that's what we're doing next. And I'll send an email about it, and we'll probably post something in the group. But I just want you guys to know that I'm not walking away now. I'm not going back to my other group and just never seeing you again. No way, no how. I am so thrilled by everything that we've done here, so thrilled. And then, does anyone have any questions about that? You guys are really quiet, and I'm just blabbing away. Definitely, you're going to get on a conference call with me so that you have to talk too. You don't want to talk, you don't have to. I have some people, the conference calls are set up in a way that you can either see the person, or they can just put up a photo of themselves, or they can just have a black screen with their name on it. And I have some people who never do anything but show up with the black screen with their name on it. It's okay. But you do get to just interact more. So what happens with all of that? What happens with all of that is that in the end, I want us all to keep moving. I want to make sure that come March of next year, which seems like a long ways off, and it's only 5 months, 5 short months. I don't know about you, but time is screaming past. But by March of next year, you feel different. You are different, right? You're you're dialed in. It's no, am I going to get up and exercise? It's the thing to do. And I'm seeing a lot of that right now. You're transformed. I know in our group that we have right now, when we first started talking, I would say something to, let's say, I'm going to say Susan. Let's pretend Susan, you're in the group. I'd be like, well, Susan, you're an athlete. And everybody would be like, I'm not an athlete. I just go for walks, or I just, go to the gym, or I just do Zumba classes, whatever. And now when I say, Susan, you're an athlete, she's like, yeah, I am. That's huge. That's a transformation, because when you start getting that place where you actually see yourself and think of yourself and know that you can do things that you like, not that you couldn't do things before, but like you can do hard things. Game changer, game changer. I know that like one of our ladies, Cindy, and I need to introduce all y'all, but Cindy, when she came into the group, she said, I want to be able to hike the Swiss Alps from hut to hut. Like that's her dream. And she's making plans. And then another one of our ladies, Jenny, just is right now booking a trip, like this major hiking trip in Colorado. But these are things that they wanted to do, but they never thought they could. And in my world, nothing makes me more excited, like nothing. Like you get to know me, you'll find out. Like I am crazy for having women get super empowered and able to do whatever it is they want to do. Like, and that doesn't mean like for me, I already told you, like I want to run, like I want to run. I dream about running. Like that's how bad I want to run. And I haven't quite gotten past that whole issue with the sciatic. So it doesn't mean that, I can just go out and do that. But it does mean that I can do all kinds of other things and I still work toward what other things it is that I want to do. So for me, that's like, it has been a driving force. And I don't think that when we first started, I even introduced myself very much. But just so you know, not only am I Kelly Howard, but over the last 15 years, I had a company called Bayou City Outdoors. And BCO was an outdoor activity company based in Houston, Texas. And we would do like 80 events a month, like a lot of events a month. And but what really got me, and it was guys and gals, it became more women because I really really leaned toward my women because I wanted to teach them, to hike and to backpack and to kayak and to do all these different things. And so that's what I did, like for 15 years. And it was so cool. I had so much fun. In fact, I did get to take one last trip. I sold the company at the beginning of this year. And I sold it because this is what I want to do now. Like, I want to reach more women. I want to reach, like, I just want women to just go, wow, I can do this. Like, whatever it is. Like I've always focused in the past on outdoor adventure, but no, whatever it is, doesn't matter to me. I just want people to be able to do it. And so just back in September, I had my last trip with the group that I was taking. And it was interesting. I think I had 12 people, 11 of them were women. And every person on that trip at some point prior to the trip would email me and say, I don't know if I can do this. It was hiking the Appalachian Trail. We weren't backpacking it. We were just hiking it. And we did some hiking and we did some rafting and things like that. But every person was concerned that they would not be able to keep up. And what was cool was I said, you know what? Like, A, you're going to be able to keep up because you're doing the training, right? Because I gave them a training schedule and they were all doing the training. And B, we don't leave people behind, so we'll figure this out. And what happened was that the first day I took them on a hike, and it was a long hike. It was a long, long hike, probably longer than I had planned on. And everybody was a little concerned. But then at the end of the day, they all did it. And they were all like, wow, did you see what I just did? And so it was so awesome. So that's what I want. Like, I want you to be able to do whatever it is that you want to do. Whether it's like one person said they wanted to lose weight. Another person said they wanted to get over the medications that they're on. Another person said they want to get stronger. There's just so many things that we can do. And I want everyone out there doing them. So let me check in real quick because I'm blabbing away here for a second. And I want to just stop. I get kind of excited, like Chihuahua. Okay, Bethany. Hey. Oh, good for you. I guess you're moving. So congratulations. And then Susan, you're saying accountability does help for you. Yep, I totally understand. And so you don't have as many friends because you're in a new place. Yes, like I moved, it's been 7 years now. I can't believe it's been that long. I live in Houston, but I moved to the other side of from where I was. And since I work from the house, I've found that I don't leave here as much because the traffic is so brutal. And so I turn to online for my accountability. Like that's where I find a lot of my friends, and that's where I find all my accountability is my buddies online, the women I'm meeting. And then Paula, yeah, so you're feeling like you can talk about what we're doing. Yeah, and not feel braggy. Hell no, you are not braggy here. Like, I want to hear the big stories. I want to hear the big wins. Like, I can't say it enough. I'm so excited about everybody here. And I just keep telling all my friends, you should see what everybody's doing in my group. I love it. So Kelly, thanks for joining us. I don't know when you came on because I got super excited and started talking and forgot to check comments, but I'm going to wrap this up because I went longer than I normally do. And what I would like is that, well, I'd like y'all to have as much fun as you possibly can here. And brag as much as you possibly can, because this is a place to brag. And then know that this group isn't going away. There's a caveat though. I am not going to be in here consistently monitoring it and talking. After next week, I'm going to have to move over to our new group of people who want to join me in the Fit is Freedom experience and the holiday special. So I will have to move more toward that, but I will definitely be checking in here. In the meanwhile, check your email. Check your email, because I'm only taking 30 people in the next group that we're doing, the holiday experience and the Fit is Freedom, because I found that more than that, and it wears me out. Like, I need my energy too. So definitely check your email. I will post some stuff in the group, and thank you guys so much. Thank you so very much for being here, and I will see you guys tomorrow. We've got a live at 3:30 Central Time, and I'm bringing Michelle Dreilich on. So talk to you then. Bye-bye now.